Good morning. It is me, Pro from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned in Tarot, and we're here to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and divine feminine energies inside of ourselves. Understand that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see reflected back to us in our outside world. So we can glean things from people in our real lives, but only because whatever state we're in, that's what we're going to see. So let's take a look. Okay, now Instagram has changed. For those of you who have been following me for a long time, I post time-lapse shuffle with music playing on Instagram to hear it. But anyway, Instagram has finally been disciplined for illegally using music. Because even though I really love this feature, it is technically not kosher because people aren't getting paid, right? So, and everyone has to get paid, although not the artists. So I'm going to be doing live shuffling now. So if you follow me on Instagram, you will get a notification that I am shuffling for the current reading. So you'll know exactly when I'm going live, and you'll be able to sit there while I shuffle live if you would like to see it. So that's happening now from now on, I guess. And I think I will be getting my cards out before I start the shuffle because that takes a long ass time. I realized as I was doing it today. It's like a full song length of decks that I'm using. If you're ever curious about what decks I'm using, I include it in the description box. I don't necessarily pick which decks that I use that day because I just put like a generic, these are all the decks I have. But you can always DM me on Instagram or Gmail me if you're not sure which deck I'm using during the live. I love to make it complicated for you. Interact with my account so it grows, All right, let's get started. I didn't even pay attention to who has the most cards showing. Divine Feminine, I guess, who's overthinking. I had a really interesting thing happen during the shuffle. For some reason today, when I went to grab the top or the bottom of the deck for both sides, in one of the decks, there was either a flipped over card in the center, which usually I take that to mean like I should bring it out. So I pulled that from the Divine Feminine headspace and put it down. And then when I went to flip over the top card for the heart space for Divine Masculine, two cards flipped, which has never happened to me. So I put that one out as well. So there's some extra feelings and some extra thoughts going on for everyone involved. But it looks like Divine Feminine has the most cards showing. So let's flip over everything. It's funny. I'm reading Divine Feminine on the left side the last week or so, which is normally where I read Divine Masculine, and this looks like Divine Masculine headspace instead of feminine, so that's funny. All right, let's get started. Divine Feminine, top of the deck, overall headspace, forefront of the mind for you. Queen of Swords in reverse. So you're thinking about yourself. You're thinking and 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 you're thinking a little bit more. And then when you're done thinking about it, you think about how you were thinking about all the thinking that you just were thinking about. I'm exhausted from holding this card. I'm exhausted from looking at your spread. You should have 6 cards in your headspace. You have 8. So you are thinking too much. You are potentially being a little bit cunning, calculating. You might be kind of going into the shadow a little bit because you're uncomfortable and you're trying to protect yourself a little bit. But what I really see, first of all, I just see you overthinking purely. What's at the forefront of your mind? Thinking too much. Thinking about how you're thinking too much is at the forefront of your mind. So you're just like, fuck, can I just like take a drug to shut this off? And you've tried and it doesn't work, right? Not working. So you're trying to release this shadow. You're trying not to be calculating. You're trying not to figure out exactly what is going on all the time and fix yourself because you're broken and have this and like, it's like, stop. It's like, stop kind of a feeling, right? Stop protecting myself by thinking too much. What is the benefit to being smart again? I'm failing to see it. That's definitely like Wow, I'm a genius. Great. I wish I just was, not so smart and I wouldn't be thinking this much because it's so painful, kind of a thing. But the reason that you're consumed with these thoughts and also feeling, and there's definitely, with the Queen of Swords in reverse, there's no strategy. So you're kind of like, I don't know what the fuck to do. I don't know what to do. I have no idea. I'm at a loss. I can't think my way out of the situation. And the niggling thing in the back of my mind is the Fool. So there's this new beginning. There's this new way of being. That's maybe what's got your head going all over the place. You also might be thinking a lot about a certain person that is being a bit foolish in your life, somebody that you think is being foolish. Maybe you think you are being foolish. Maybe you think divine masculine is being foolish. Maybe you think someone else is being foolish. But underlying all of your overthinking is the Fool. So I would say for a majority of us, we're trying not to be pissed, defensive, and protective against this Fool energy, against this new beginning that we're seeking with this divine masculine energy. And we're just, we sense that he's new. We sense that there's this new potential thing happening. And we're trying not to think it to death. But we keep thinking about how we're thinking it to death. Oh, my head hurts. The first card up, the first thing on Divine Feminine's mind is the Page of Pentacles. One of the most delightful pages, I think, Page of Pentacles cards that I've ever seen. That child is just fully entranced by this pentacle. And this card is about assessing something, assessing an offer that you're receiving. It can be about feeling like you have only a small amount to give. But when I see this card, there's that delight aspect of it that comes. This is why I use a lot of different decks, because I get feelings and thoughts and storylines when I look at any cards. Now I see birds, or like somebody says something, or there's a song lyric, or I could literally just read the environment like I read cards at this point. But if I'm looking at the same images over and over again, I'm still feeling and sensing things, and I can still get the storyline, but new images will bring new ideas and new thoughts about it. And there's a new energy to this Page of Pentacles and the Fool, this new thing. So the new perspective on this Page of Pentacles is delight. It is not like, oh, I only have this small thing to offer and like no one's going to want it. Or I'm only getting these small gestures and I don't want it at all. It's like, I am satisfied. I'm delighted with these little real three-dimensional material world manifestations that I am able to have and experience. Not only gestures coming from a divine masculine iteration, but just my own like little triumphs that I'm experiencing. She's thinking about this a lot. Like how she's in this Fool energy. She's in this new energy with her material well-being. Six of Wands. So this is victory. And for the Fountain Tarot, God damn, all of the cards on the floor. Oh my God. And the one that is showing, which is now going to be on the top of the deck. I don't know what the hell. That was very interesting. All right, we'll get there, Divine Masculine. Chill out. You're really wanting to talk. Not your turn. Wait your turn. So the Six of Wands in this deck, we have this individual that's like laying. I don't even know what it is. I guess just like this red block. And of course, red is, we're thinking of like root chakra. We're thinking of blood. And Six of Wands is about winning a battle. So it's like there's been the bloody battle, right? The Five of Wands, that struggle. And now we're victorious. When we look at the figure in this card, isn't that an interesting expression? Because it is like, yes, but it could also be pain. And so there's this feeling of this is a hard-won victory. It's a painful victory, but there is a delight here about having finally achieved reciprocity. There's the Six of Pentacles. So, Page of Pentacles with this small offer here. And the ability to see a reciprocal, like see the return on the investment, like getting as much out as you put in. And so I think Divine Feminine is realizing that as she's made these small steps, as she's made these small gestures, she's seeing this victory. She's finally seeing reciprocation from the universe, from others around her, from divine masculine in some situations. But she's finally experiencing a sense of reciprocity. And because there's been an evaluation, right? The Queen of Swords energy, the thinking, all the thinking that she's doing. Well, what is she doing? Hi, Maya. She is evaluating that as she has taken these small steps, the universe has met her where she's at. And she's understanding that the reason she wasn't seeing large communication, large action, which we saw that in her headspace being worried about that King of Wands and reversal energy the other day, is because she was herself not making big gestures, right? This Devil card still in reverse for her. Moved from being the underlying thing in her mind now to just clarification for what she's delighted about. No longer is she triggered by small gestures from divine masculine. This used to bother her, used to make her be obsessive. To see the Queen of Swords in reverse and the Devil in reverse is really telling. It's really about how divine feminine is doing her damnedest not to get stuck in these loop thinking, become obsessed about fears, anxieties, tell these stories. Every little gesture that she gets would turn into a story that would make her seem less worthy. And she's realizing that it was just this devil energy. It was just the ego. It was just her fears that were taking these small gestures and making them seem somehow I can feel the feeling, but I can't figure out the word to use, like tainted or something. Like the gestures used to seem, I don't know. There's a sense that something that she was viewing like distrusting is passing away, and it's no longer triggering her ego or fears. She's just feeling like this is the natural progression towards that victory and reciprocity. As she's doing this herself, she's seeing this reflected back to her. Then we have the Ace of Wands, upright, clarifying victory. So this is like her heart's desire, right? I wasn't looking at the 3 overthinking cards, but now I see what they are. It's just, okay. So the victory that she's experiencing is in regards to what it is that she's desiring. So whatever reason you're here to watch these readings, this manifestation that you're trying to achieve, I know for a lot of viewers, it usually has to do with a relationship because of the twin flame element that is in the readings. But it's not just about relationships. It's about, the things that we create as artists, the career that we want, the simple little things in our environment, things like a car or a house or whatever it is that we think once we have it, like then we'll feel better, right? The reason that we're here, that is this Ace of Wands. So whatever that is for you, this is what divine feminine is feeling victory over. She's conquered that devil energy in regards to her desires. And so the final outcome is the overthinking that she's engaging in, of course. It's our Hierophant card in reverse, which is why there needs to be clarification, because the clarifier is the Two of Cups upright, and it's this gorgeous image from the Fountain Tarot where we have the divine couple reaching into the cosmos for their cups, right? They've been filled up by the divine, and they're basically like now kind of floating back towards them. They're going to have to reach for them, though. They have to meet those cups where they're at, and then they can share them together. And the card that was flipped over in the deck that I ended up pulling out, the Four of Swords in reverse. So the storyline that I'm getting here is this reciprocity, right? That feminine's desire. She wants to experience a reciprocation. Puts in, she gives towards this thing, and she wants to realize that it's happening outside. It really needs to stop. Thank you. Wow, do you see that kind of power I have? Where is the $1 million? That needs to show up at my door right now. Oh, that doesn't work as well. Damn it. Okay, I can control beeps, but I can't control the flow of money directly to my doorstep. All right. Damn, that beeping got to me. Okay, so my friend pointed out the other day that because I was telling a story about when I was delirious, I had like a terrible, I think I had it was before, when I used to have tonsils and I had so many issues. I think I just had some kind of an abscess or something on my tonsil. And I was in the hospital with completely delirious, and the staff, like the staff would come in and I just kept begging them. I was in the ER. And so they had put me into this room. This was years ago. And there was a door in the ER, probably the main door, that would, as it was closing, it would like start to close and then it would slam. And I was like, every time it happened, I was like, oh, like, and I kept telling the staff, I kept being like, you have to stop the sound of the door. And they just thought I was delirious. And I was like, no, please. I was like, please give me earplugs. And my friend is like, you're so sensitive to sounds. And I'm like, yes, I know. It's fucking annoying. So whenever there's like something like that that's distracting, it's so hard for me to focus. Side note. Anyway, back to the story. So reciprocation. We see divine feminine thinking that this sacred union, right? First of all, there's an element, this is the Hierophant, so there's an element here in this card of tradition, rigid belief systems, authority, legal contracts, etc. This is in reverse. So there could be some thinking about how there have been past legal contracts that are problematic, standing in the way, have to be released. It could be that element she's thinking about. It could also be that she's thinking she doesn't need a traditional trajectory, right? She's thinking that this reciprocity that she wants from this, in some cases, iteration of a divine masculine, or the career that she wants, or whatever it is that she wants to see this reciprocity in regards to, she's thinking, it doesn't have to be traditional. Like, I'm not traditional, so this doesn't need to be traditional. But this, whatever it is, whatever is going to happen, whether there's an offer of marriage here, or whether it's just this non-traditional relationship, or this unique career, or whatever it is, it's physically going to happen. There's going to be this Two of Cups physical breaking of bread, meeting this thing in the real world. And with the cups, it's about feelings and emotions. And so it's likely has to do with something that you have a lot of love for. So there's a feeling that this can be a non-traditional experience. The Four of Swords in reverse is about coming out of grief, no longer grieving. And that could be that she's released grief in regards to past legal contracts. She's healed wounds that she had in regards to this. And it could just also be about how she's thinking that she's come to this point where she's healed herself enough that she can experience now this physical manifestation. Okay, heart space. Better pick up the pace a little bit here. Especially since for some reason Divine Feminine got like 20,000 Moonology cards. I don't know why. Top of the deck, forefront of her heart. Of her heart? I haven't decided on that phrasing. 10 of Wands. She wants to put down this burden. If we look at the burden and its placement, what we see is the burden is thinking too much, right? Thinking and maybe not expressing, maybe not having a way to express, but really wanting to put something down, put a burden down. The trying to figure out what to do, trying to figure out what's going to happen. She just wants to hear this communication, this completion of this communication. She's really looking to hear. But she's feeling burdened, a lot of responsibility, a heaviness in her heart space. The niggling feeling is the 7 of Cups in reverse. So she's made her choice. She's not confused. That's good, at least. She's not sitting there thinking like, oh, I have all these other options. I don't know what to do. And like, please help me make this choice. And I can't possibly make this choice. And she's not like putting all these fantasies in these cups and then like just sitting there staring at them. She's actually made a decision. And it's fun. This looks so much like it could totally be a divine masculine headspace. I'm wondering how much union we're going to get. And the decision has to do with this unburdening, right? Like no longer carrying this burden anymore, but putting it down. My God. The niggling thing in the back of her mind is the first thing in her heart space. The Fool card, beginning. And in this Field Tarot, which looks so sexy against the Fountain Tarot, I must add, we're seeing this completely bare, vulnerable, fresh, divine feminine energy, staring off into a blank canvas, basically. And the headspace, the niggling feeling is there is this new beginning. It's kind of what she doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know how to start. She doesn't know like what to do to actually get started along this trajectory. And her heart space, is feeling a little bit foolish about how delighted she is at the small gestures she's receiving. She's feeling like she needs to be a little bit cautious about getting too excited about offers this big, when really much more promising things await her in the wings. So she's like, don't get it twisted. This is nice, but these are little gestures. So tread carefully with your delight about them. The Strength card in reverse, clarifying the 6 of Wands. Again, interesting. We're seeing a victory over ego. We saw ego in reverse too. So there's this sense here that the pride and ego has not been so much under control. And maybe that's the battle that she's been fighting, that she's hoping to be victorious over, is just really not allowing her ego to make these foolish decisions, right? It's like she's being cautious. Don't get too excited about these small offers, number one. Also, don't get too into your ego about it either. Be cautious. Like, don't let these small victories you're experiencing inflate your ego too much and forget who's really in charge, right? Not you. Who's in charge? A higher power. Here's the 3 of Wands. This is patience. This is all the pieces falling into place. This is really trusting that that's happened, because you can see the ships coming in now. She's being patient about the reciprocity, right? She's being cautious. She's controlling her pride and ego. She's like, ah. do not get too much of a big head over the fact that you're experiencing a little bit of victory right now. You know what happens when you get into your head about shit, right? Not good. So she's being patient. She's trusting. She's getting that inspiration from the divine. This ego being released, this devil energy. Look at this Nine of Cups. Okay? She's so happy about the fact that she has done this work in regards to the codependency. Her wishes are being fulfilled right now because she is doing her best to stand off against this devil energy. And when we see the Nine of Cups upright, we know we're going to get our wish. Her wish is for that victory, for that reciprocity. That's what we see in her headspace. And it's by overcoming the ego, which in this card expresses as selfishness, hoarding, right? Miserliness, greediness. That's the shadow that she has had to face off. Ace of Wands, clarified by the motherfucking Nine of Pentacles. This is rewarding self, right? Achieving your heart's desire, being able to see the fulfillment of the work that you've been doing result in this great abundance. Knight of Wands. Interesting thing to end the heart space with. And the word on this card from the Field Tarot is instigation. So divine feminine does not normally like to experience divine masculine in Knight of Wands energy, right? An instigator is not necessarily a good energy. It's like somebody who comes in, stirs the pot, and runs off again. I watched this all day yesterday on Beverly Hills Housewives on my day off, and it was fun. But I watch people instigate each other, be very passionate, express themselves, and then just let the chaos unfold. So that's the shadow trait of the Knight of Wands. It's inconsistency. It's sexual energy, surface level behaviors, passionate, sweeps you off your feet, but not really there for it in the long run. But since we're looking at wish fulfillment, Nine of Pentacles just before this card, and it's clarifying this physical union, I think what we're seeing is her heart's desire is that divine masculine will instigate this physical reunion by breaking the silence in regards to this Hierophant energy that has been in control of their ability to come into union. That's what I see there. All right, let's take a look at divine masculine and see what he is thinking and feeling. Holy shit. Oh my God. Well, okay then. Divine masculine, top of the deck, overall, headspace, forefront of the mind for you. Nine of Swords. You are feeling bombarded by your thoughts, and they are mostly anxious worries and fears, and they are coming at you from all directions, and you feel like there's nowhere for you to hide, and you're in a lot of distress over them. And it's not great. You're very worried. You're protecting yourself. You're wounding yourself. And that's such a nice match to the Queen of Swords in reverse, because this is also what Divine Feminine is doing, right? This is what she's trying not to do. She's aware that this is what she has been doing, and she's like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to do that. But Divine Masculine, this is what you're experiencing right now. And that makes sense. You do have more than 6 cards in your headspace, so you have a lot of thoughts. And it's there's so many things happening in this image. There's a snake that's wrapped around one of the swords. There's this crumbling structure back here. See this here? So it's like temptation. You're trying to like not be swayed by temptation. This tower experiences, you're afraid of this happening, of this crumbling of the foundation. There's a lot of death and destruction in your head right now. The niggling thing is the Six of Swords, which is good. Because the Six of Swords is like, okay, you know all this shit that happened to you? Well, that is what helped you figure out how to balance. That is what helped you figure out how to dance, how to flow, how to transition from this kind of scary feeling to somewhere else. You don't know where it is. You're not certain about where you're going, but you do know that the things that you have been going through, the things that cause these anxieties, worries, and fears, they are the very thing that has prepared you to be able to get to your next point. So while you're overthinking and afraid and anxious and worried, in the back of your mind, you're like, it's all good. It's all good. Like, we don't know what's going to happen, but we know that I've learned from these things in the past. And so you're really battling that fear with this feeling like, no, when things have gone wrong, it has been good. So just trust. Like, you keep going back and forth. That Nine of Swords being the overall thing. The first thing on your mind is the Ten of Swords in the reverse. So you're like really progressing from 9 to 10 energy, like coming out of the swords, using the Six of Swords to navigate the Nine of Swords to end the painful separation that this card indicates, right? This is one of the most extreme Ten of Swords in terms of like, it just gives me a lot of anxiety. Like, I'm like, his eyes are going to be it's like, no, not good, right? It's not good. There's so much tension here in this card. Obviously, the Ten of Swords, somebody's usually pinned down like a butterfly, you know, with all the swords in their back. And in this case, it's interesting because none of these swords are actually piercing this individual, but they cause pain and suffering anyway, right? They're not pinning him down, but he's pinned down by their presence, by their threat of them. And this is ending. No more. This painful separation for Divine Masculine, he wants to end this. That's what he's nervous about, anxious about, worried about being able to do. The next thing on his mind, Four of Cups upright. So we're in a pause here. But this is, to me, today about grounding. It's not necessarily about being stuck in the dream space. It can be about being an escape. This is a total Pisces card to me. Like, you know, meditation, like, and also like dreams and drugs, like escaping the mind, being free, but not being here. It's also about connecting to nature too. So Divine Masculine wants to end the separation. He wants to ground the union. He wants to come out of the dream space and ground the union in the present moment. But there's a pause that he's enduring right now because he has still to work up this courage. Here's the Page of Swords, the Princess of Swords, which best fucking haircut in this deck. OMG. But this is about being brave enough to wield the sword. I always say this is like Harry Potter behind the gravestone when he has to face Voldemort with this wand and Expelliarmus, right? Not really prepared, but you're going to do it anyway because you're going to, you know, fucked if you're going to let Voldemort get away with it, right? So he's working up this courage to reveal himself fully. When he reveals himself fully with the star energy, what he is revealing is the healing that has taken place, right? His wish fulfillment too. The divine feminine aspect of self, which is his emotions and feelings are balanced and healed. And now he wants to expose and reveal. As he reveals who his true love is, or what his true love is, if this is a manifestation that is not an individual. As he reveals himself, he reveals who that individual is. He brings divine feminine into the light, and finally she is no longer hidden. She's illuminated. His love inside, his feminine energy inside is illuminated. That is how the separation will end. And this is what he's working up the courage to do. And he's fucking scared. Makes sense. This is scary. If you've been in the dark for a long time and you've never shown anybody this, and it's been hidden for a long time, and when you reveal it, it's going to reveal all of your weaknesses and how long it's been happening. It's frightening. And justice is in reverse, clarifying the Four of Cups, right? This is what the pause is about. We have to await some kind of results, some kind of legal results. And they're frustrating. It's just like, he's just like, oh, I just have to sit here and wait. I want this connection to be grounded. I want to reveal it. But I have to wait for this to happen. And I also have to apologize. I have to bring fairness to the union. And I have to apologize for keeping this hidden. Not showing that this is how I felt, or this is what I thought. And the overthinking for divine masculine today is the card that was stuck to the top of the deck card when I flipped it over. So, and well, let me clarify. This card came out normally in the headspace, but when I shuffled the heart space and flipped over the top card of the deck, the duplicate of this card was attached to it. So there's rebirth here. There's reconciliation. There's absolution. There's forgiveness. And this is clarifying this Page of Swords in reverse. So this is who he has to work up the courage to face. This is Hierophant, which we already saw today in the same position, actually, of overthinking in Divine Feminine's headspace. But for Divine Feminine, it was in reverse because she's thinking about past legal contracts in regards to marriage. And also she's thinking about releasing limiting beliefs in regards to the physical union she wants to have. Divine Masculine is having to work up the courage to face off his own limiting beliefs. There could be past contracts that are a problem that he's had to face off, etc. Seeing this rebirth and reconciliation, what I'm really seeing is he's working up the courage to make an offer of marriage to someone that he is reconciling with. And he has to face off limiting beliefs that have prevented him from doing this. It's making it frightening. And this is why he's in Nine of Swords energy. It's a Nine of Swords energy because he's very nervous and afraid to do this. Top of the deck for him, for his heart space, however, is the Ten of Cups. So we saw the Nine of Cups over on Divine Feminine side, and here's the completion in Divine Masculine's heart space. This is the overall feeling he has right now. He wants to have a hippie commune. He's like ready for it. He's like, give me my house and my garden. And like, you know, we'll like meditate and do yoga and shit. Like, yeah. But yeah, all he is feeling in his heart space is spiritual fulfillment, which for him is this human connection, family, this enjoying of the material through the feeling of being completely fulfilled spiritually, which is a beautiful thing. And how lovely that the counterpart for this Nine of Swords is 10 of Cups. And it's what makes him feel afraid is because what he wants to do, right? That marriage energy, that sacred union, reconciling, being absolved, forgiven for sins, all of that. There's a lot riding on it. That's why he's so afraid. That's why that Nine of Swords is like, ugh. I don't envy his position. I'm the divine feminine, so I just get to receive the offer. I don't have to work up the courage to give it. I already did all my chasing. I'm done chasing, right? Niggling feeling for divine masculine. Again, a match to divine feminine. Now, this is very interesting to see this much union and heart space with divine feminine heart space, is a complete union here. The mirroring is he doesn't want to be in the Prince of Wands energy. The niggling feeling is I've been a dick. I've been dumb. I've been stupid. I have been doing these ineffective spurts, gestures, etc. I love the Sips Coffee comment. And I need to stop doing that. I need to stop doing it. I need to. If I want my spiritual fulfillment, I can't engage in this Prince of Wands type of shit anymore, right? I've done it. I can't do it. But what's the light of the card? This bitch is riding a phoenix. There's more rebirth here than ever. So he wants to be in the light traits of this knight, that throwing caution to the wind, etc. He's also being like, be careful, go a little cautiously, right? Yeah, this card is awesome. This is from Rachel True Heart Intuitive Tarot. And so he wants to like sweep in on this with this fiery passion, but he's also trying to be like, okay, I'm not trying to come in and just be all in my sexual energy because I'm after this spiritual fulfillment. And I'm not trying to come in and leave again. I want to come in for the long haul, right? I've learned my fucking lesson, which is another meaning of this Six of Swords that I didn't even mention about the Hierophant because I was focused on the contracts and the sacred union. But the other meaning of the Hierophant is higher level lessons, learning your lessons, right? Six of Swords has definitely got lessons learned aspects to it. And it's like he's learned his lessons in regards to what happens when he acts like some type of fool, right? First thing on his mind, throws it on the floor, isn't it? And you know, I kind of want to. All right. Two of Wands. Clarifying the Ten of Wands in reverse. Do you think he wants to end the painful separation of the twin flame union? I think he does. But there's an element to the Two of Wands which is like, it's out of my hands, right? I've done all that I can do. I've asked, please end this separation. And I trust. That's another element of the Hierophant card, faith, right? Divine Feminine, your Hierophant card in reverse, in regards to the physical union, you're needing to have faith that you're going to be able to come out of this silence and not lose faith and fear Divine Masculine being a Knight of Wands and not being in his integrity, right? You have to learn your lessons in regard to that. You have to have faith. Divine Masculine is having faith in this reconciliation, this absolution. He's having faith in the twin flame journey itself, in the end of separation. And then what do you know? This Four of Cups. There's Judgment. Back again. There she is. That absolution. In this, we're seeing this angelic. We're seeing freedom. All these birds. This looks like Fantastic Planet. Please go watch that. I talk about it all the time. It is so trippy and cool. If you're into it, get super high. It's got the best soundtrack ever. But it's just pretty much like this. You do need to watch it. I think it's on HBO Max. I started watching it there the other day. I used to watch it all the time. Like just put it on in the background. It's so weird and interesting. But once you watch it, you'll be like, oh shit. Like it literally is like this card. So he's feeling this Judgment energy in regards to here. So let's talk about that, because we looked at the elements of Judgment that's about reconciliation and it's about absolution and rebirth, yada, yada. But in this case, we're seeing him maybe feeling this judgment in regards to the fact that he's sitting here in his dreams, right? That it's taken him a very long time to do this grounding, and that he's not really moving, and he's judging himself for this. He's also waiting for a judgment. The Justice card is in reverse right underneath this. The Judgment is clarifying the Hierophant. So if this is a situation where we're dealing with a former marriage, divorce situation, could literally be waiting for a judgment to take place in regards to that. I have to mention that because it's possible. But I also just see this as being critical of not moving, of just being kind of stuck in this paused energy, just thinking and contemplating and not actually taking action, because the next thing up is the Prince of Swords in reverse, which is Knight of Swords energy, and it is clarifying Page of Swords in reverse. So literally to me, that's like judging yourself, this twin flame journey that you're on, being very critical that you haven't been brave enough to grasp the sword and come in and be very honest with yourself and very honest with this divine feminine energy and reveal what it is that has caused the issues between the two of you, which when I see the next card coming up, I don't like it. Have to do with third party energy, because this is the Three of Cups and it is in reverse, and it is not the greatest Three of Cups card. That I do not love this card. Because the Three of Cups to me is celebration, friendships, coming together. And when we look at this card, we see the third party energy that a lot of people associate with the card. That there's this, kind of shadowy aspect to it. And seeing as it's in reverse, it's really emphasizing it. And seeing as it's emphasizing it, it is clarifying the star. Now, what I think is really interesting is the interpretation I'm getting right now. All y'all divine feminines that are freaking out right now, like, his third party energy, and that's not what he wants to tell me about. No. You, divine feminine, this is you. What he hasn't wanted to be honest with himself, what he is being harsh and critical about himself about, with that Judgment card coming before the Prince of Swords, what he's not brave enough to admit to you or to himself is that because of this, you were the third party. This isn't about him telling you, oh, I'm not with you because of a third party that I'm seeing. This is him not being able to come to you because he's judging himself, because while he was in other relationships, you were the third party. And all this time that this third party energy has been coming up, you thought, oh, this is this other person that's blocking our connection. And what he's really having to admit to himself is that you blocked his ability to have a successful connection with someone else because you are his twin flame. I don't even know what to say. My ego is like, what the fuck? Yeah. So the thing that he's not being truthful to himself is you were the side piece, right? And it's not that he's like saying to you like, well, it's you who are the third party. You're the one who ruined my life. No. What he's realizing is that he treated you like that. He didn't mean to. It was this aspect of this journey, right? He didn't mean to put you in that position, but that's the position he put you in. And that's not what he wants to be honest with himself. And that's what you remind him of. All the time, he's like, I love this person and I treated her like this. And she's resenting me because I treat her like this, right? This is what is unfair. The High Priestess card in reverse. Not trusting his divine feminine, not trusting himself. being incredibly unfair to the divine feminine by holding her in this position of her as a third party. And now you can go back and watch all of my readings, and when he's talking about third party blockage, and you all are like fucking on his Instagram trying to find out which bitch it is. That bitch isn't on his Instagram because he doesn't show anybody who his third party is. It's you. That's why he's quiet. That's why you're not in pictures with him. You are a side piece. An afterthought. That's rough, right? He doesn't want to have to tell you that. He doesn't want to have to look you in the eye in your high priestess energy and be like, hi, goddess of the moon, by the way, so like, yeah, because I was afraid. I kept you as a third party in my life. Sorry. Right? Sorry. Please forgive me. Who does he want to forgive him? Who does he want the sacred union with? The card that fell on the floor when all the cards fell on the floor. The Queen of Pentacles. A specific iteration of the divine feminine. I am shocked. What the hell? Okay. All right. Now, look at all of these Moonology cards. What is your problem, divine feminine? Get it together. You're in the light. Yes, Michelle, you're right. I do feel like this goes both ways. I'd like to point out Michelle's insight. That third party energy, that blockage, being you, the side piece, whatever, goes both ways. It's always true because it's you, right? It's inside of self. You kept yourself as a third party. You were like, it's okay, baby. I'll just be here on the sidelines. I'll just message you and let you leave me on red and feel like, oh, it's enough, right? He couldn't have kept you as a third party if you didn't let yourself be kept as a third party. Thank you for saying that. You are, however, dear feminine in the light attributes of the queen, which is radiates the regal feminine, uses her benevolent authority to protect others. And you are not being controlling and demanding for once for me. How long will this last? We do not know. You like it. You like that I'm controlling and demanding. You're in the shadow attributes of the martyr right now, which is an addiction to self-pity. Rude. I feel that so strongly because I was definitely in my moments in the last week where I've just been like, I suffered so much. He better be grateful. Like, I deserve to be like just treated so well for the rest of my life for all that I've endured in this relationship. Shut up. Learn the transcendent nature of service to oneself or a cause. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. The universe is tired of it. Saint Teresa of Lisieux is here to tell you you are making steady progress and also to ask you not to get mad about the turtle card appearing if it comes up again, because slow and steady truly does win the race. And I can chafe at that slow energy all that I want, but I would rather have my divine masculine honestly take his time and be healed and absolved of his sins for himself and forgiving himself and not bringing baggage to me that I have to then try to unpack with him. So I do think that the slow and steady progress thing is really beneficial, even if it is annoying. But St. Teresa is here to support you in the terrible feeling of slow and steady, right? She's definitely here when you feel like I feel, which is like, why the fuck is it taking so long? Get a prayer card, pray to St. Teresa. She will be there to support you. girl, I'm going to have to get a statue, like a life-size statue of Saint Teresa of Lisieux, and like cover that shit with fresh roses so I smell it all the time and pray it every time I walk by to deal with this slow-moving energy. Forgiveness. This is a big one that's come up for me. On Monday with my coven, we did a spell for Easter, or well, for Ostara, where we said basically like a little chant, and then shuffled the cards and had 3 cards, and it was something that was in the past, or our current situation, what we should focus on, and then what we would have to change to move through the lesson. And for me, it was about 4 of Swords, actually, was what I would need to change. And it was just needing to move through the stages of grief. I was in anger, and I needed to move through that and come into forgiveness and acceptance. So Divine Feminine, you're getting this message. You really do need to move into forgiveness and acceptance in regards to yourself, what you were, looking at the spread and being like, shit, I'm a third party. This person kept me as a third party, but I kept myself as a third party, and I acted like a third party, right? I sent messages that I knew were not on the up and up. I, reached out at an inappropriate time when Divine Masculine maybe was with someone else. Like, you have to go back and forgive yourself for those things that you have done. And forgive Divine Masculine also for putting you in a position where that matched you, right? Because just because it matches you doesn't mean that it excuses the behavior. It's not like you're like, well, I accept abuse from somebody, so it's okay if he hits me. No, it's not okay if he ever does. Also, your twin flame's not going to be hitting you, by the way. If that's happening, this is not a soulmate. This is somebody that needs a lot more help than twin flame union can probably give them. So it's like not the right lifetime for that person if they are physically hurting you like that. No, that's not happening on the twin flame journey. Guaranteed. But you will have triggers coming from, you will wound each other. It's just more psychological, spiritual type of wounds that have to do with your own fears and worries and anxieties, not about somebody that's physically abusing you or threatening you or saying they're going to kill you or any fucking thing like that. That is not normal behavior in our collective. So just so you know. Forgiveness, though, very important. All right. Financial health. 2 messages coming from this card. Number 1, you're getting to that place of financial health, right? You're starting with that Page of Coins. You're cycling through to the 6 of Coins, and then you're ending up at that culmination at that 9 of coins or discs or pentacles or whatever the fuck deck you're using. Jesus Christ. But the warning of the 9 of Pentacles for Divine Feminine is, of course, self-indulgence, being a little too self-indulgent. What do you mean? I never do that. There's a warning here about while you are starting to see this financial growth happen, and it's like really cool, all that stuff, just, be careful. You've not been in this position before. So you might want to call in some support in regards to financial health, like maybe an expert who can help you now because you're getting sums of money that are much larger than you were getting before. Or you're just finding you have a lot of manifestations and there's money coming in and you're not quite sure how to prioritize, right? You're like, should I get the car right now because I got that? Or should I get this? Or should I? So you're needing some guidance, you're needing some clarity, and you're needing to pay some attention to your financial health. But it's good. It's because it's growing exponentially, right? Which is something that we do sometimes need help navigating. All right. My energy creates my reality, and what I focus on will manifest. Well, right now, you're trying not to overthink, so you're trying to hone in your focusing. And a lot of what you're focused on is pretty positive. So hold the space for that and just continue to focus on what you want. If you start to feel anxiety, if you start to feel like, you're not focusing on what you want. And so that's your moment. that is your moment where you get to ask yourself, how do I want to feel? Do I want to keep feeling like, or do I want to feel like better? And then you got to do something, whatever it is in that moment, to start to feel better. It's time to release negativity. We're gonna just pull these out because there's a shit ton of them. Surrender to the divine. Be bold and make the first move. Your dreams need a practical plan, and nothing will come of this situation. Okay, you know what I think this is right here? This is this. And this card, this void of course moon, is like voiding all of this. It's like, shh. Nothing will come of the overthinking, the fears, the worries, the anxiety. The truth is, if you can release negativity, surrender to the divine, be bold and take action when you're called to do so by those pings, by those inspirations that you receive, and give your dreams a practical plan, you're going to be fine. But if you don't get this stuff under control, you're just going to be cycling in that place where you're not a little of this and you're not a little of that. You're just on the hamster wheel. So you really do need to get this stuff under control. But at the same time, you need to release these fears and anxieties. Nothing is going to come of the things that you're afraid of, right? Deep replenishment, retreat, rest, and be held. At this time, retreat. Just rest for a minute. Be held by the divine. Don't try to make anything happen. Don't try. Don't be the queen. Don't go into the Queen of Swords controlling, demanding energy, right? You're releasing that. We saw that. Your archetype, you released it. Bye-bye. You're not doing that anymore. So don't go back into that. Continue to just retreat from the battle. Don't fight. Don't fight against yourself. Don't fight divine masculine. Be deeply replenished. Be held by spirit. You are getting crow spirit, co-create with spirit. And this card is so funny because the other day, my bass player, Andrew Walton, who is, I'm saying right now for all to hear, is the greatest bass player of our time. I can say that hands down. Totally. Because his ass is only 24 and I can't even imagine what he's going to be like in freaking 20 years. Like, we're all just going to be watching him play bass with like tears in our eyes. He's incredible. He's also just a super great person. He is, for those of you who know astrology, he is a cuspy. He was born on the 21st of May. So he's a cuspy Taurus Gemini with like the weird cozy home kind of like Taurus-y feeling, but the like ping pong ball, like bright, sweet, like Gemini thing going on, and also forgets shit and looks good, like looks cool. Then he has a Cancer moon and a Sagittarius rising. So there's a lot going on there, but he tends towards the cynical in terms of spiritual stuff with that Cancer moon, right? But he'll be like, he'll like humor me. Like, you know, I have this whole career and then I'm like, do you think it's bullshit, Andrew? And he'll be like, no, but like also, yeah. So the other day when he was here, I was like, what's your spirit animal? And he was like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, just close your eyes and tell me what animal you picture. And he wouldn't do it. Like he would, I was just like, just say any animal. And he was like, I can't think of it. There's no animal. And he like wouldn't close his eyes. I was like, just do it. Like he was so resistant to it. And I said, fine. And I pulled this card from the deck and it was in its reverse. And the first line of this, when it's in its protection message, is Crow Spirit wants to know why you think there is no magic in the world. I was dead. I like read that to Andrew and I was like, okay. But we're not getting the protection message today. We're getting the oracle message. As you look around you, Can you sense the magic that pulses through the world? Have you witnessed how every thought can become a thing? How every intention can call the universe into action as the sacred laws shape what you experience? The universe works in perfect order. When you align your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs with spirit, you will want to crow with delight, feeling the excitement and wonder of being in harmony with something much larger than yourself. Crow Spirit says you are right on target now to see your dreams magically come into being in the visible world. The laws of abundance, compensation, frequency, and praise are operating in your favor now. Remember to be grateful and praise what is yours, even if it is still coalescing into form, still residing in the invisible realms of co-creation. No matter what area of your life you're concerned with now, what you hope for is on its way. For Spirit is your co-creation partner. So have faith that you've asked for something and Spirit is giving it to you. And the last time I checked, Spirit seems pretty good at giving you exactly what you need, even if you don't think it is what you need. But it is, isn't it? Reflect on the past. Yep, that was what you needed. Okay, let's look at Divine Masculine, who does not have a lot of oracles today. So he is faring a little bit better than Divine Feminine. However, we're getting Judgment again. Divine Masculine, reverse. You are in the shadow attributes of offering only destructive criticism, misusing business, legal, or criminal authority. And you need to come into the light, which is balancing justice and compassion and managing the fair distribution of power. So yes, I do think you need to manage the fair distribution of power in the relationship. You seem to think that you are in charge because like the society has told you that because you have a penis you are, but that's actually not really a thing. There is shared power dynamic in twin flame relationships. So while there are traditional expressions of gender through biological aspects of self, there are no hard, fast, and rules about which side, which fluid part of the energy is the ruling power. There's the emperor and the empress. So that's fair distribution of power. And the reason why we don't feel balanced in our society right now is because there is not a fair distribution of power. And I will fight you to the death on that if you disagree with me. Because you're wrong. If everybody had respect for feminine, and that includes, it doesn't matter what gender you are, but if everyone had respect for feminine energy and it was balanced, we would not be living in a shit show. But our whole job is to balance it, right? But the reason we're seeing this card for you, I think, is because of the criticism part, offering only destructive criticism, and it's to yourself. Your judgment was all over the place. You're judging yourself pretty harshly for having done what you did to Divine Feminine. We get it, bro. You feel bad. You're sorry about it. Tell her about it and then get your dick sucked. We are wasting time here focusing on what we did wrong. Everybody does shit wrong. Do you think you're special? Did you do things more wrong than other people? Fuck you. You're not special. You're not special. You don't have to be like, oh, I'm the worst person in the world and I did all these. No, you're not. You're not. And you didn't. You're not and you didn't. You're just human. You just acted human. So you need to come into that light of absolution, which is you ask for forgiveness and you receive it. Divine Feminine is working on that, right? She was feeling pretty salty. She was feeling in her Queen of Swords energy towards you. She was feeling like, what a dick. How did he treat me like this? Why? I'm upset. That made you afraid. That made you feel like this was happening, right? That these nasty ass, miserable thoughts from Divine Feminine who is pissed off coming at you from all directions, like all these things, all these fears that you had about yourself, she was just spouting them out, right? Anything that you were afraid of, you were hearing from her because she was mad. Well, people are allowed to get mad. They are allowed to get mad. And Divine Feminine was mad. And now she's in her forgiveness energy because she understands that you didn't do any of these things to her. You did these things for her by declaration of a higher power. That's a truth, right? So stop judging yourself. That's a big thing that's coming from this card. And then manage that fair distribution of power. Allow Divine Feminine to rule alongside of you. Do not try to rule over her. You will not like the results. I'm sure you don't right now. Stress management. With somebody who is this much criticism against the self, is this worried about absolution, has this much fear, because Judgment Day is pretty frightening, right? This is an appropriate feeling for Judgment Day. This awesome power is about to look over your whole life with you and be like, so that was your choice. You poured salt on the slug just to see what would happen. That's kind of fucked up, right? And then you have to be like, why did I do that? You have to experience the stress of analyzing behaviors that you know were not great. So your guardian angel is here to support you and remind you to do this stress management. If this is how you feel, you need to counter this with some relaxation, right? Take a breath. Freedom. You are free. You are free. The cage around divine feminine in this image is an illusion. It is not really there. It's invisible. The light that she has within herself, it's dissolving the cage around her. So you have this freedom right now. You've been in this state of grieving, but grief transforms us. Suffering a loss changes us completely. First of all, there's a void that wasn't there before. There's a healing and a scar that forms, right? We'll never be the same. We'll have that place inside of us where that thing that we lost parted from us. But if we go through the stages of grief appropriately, we come out absolved. So there's been things that you've been grieving over. Mainly, it looks like you've been grieving over your role in the twin flame journey. You are in this determined energy. I do whatever it takes to get closer to consciousness. So this is you doing whatever it takes to finally come into that alignment that will allow you to be finally feeling linked to that consciousness. I said this. Take time to breathe out. Now, you got this in reverse the other day because you were taking too much time to breathe out, and the universe is like, okay, take time to breathe out. But breathe it out. When you breathe out, you dispel all the waste from inside of you. Do it. Have faith in your dreams. Right? The Hierophant, have faith in your dreams. The Queen of Pentacles, uniting with this manifestation. Don't forget, Divine Masculine, this Pleiades card. There's this double mission of channeling and uplifting humanity. You channel Divine Feminine, she channels you. You uplift humanity together. You are getting lizard spirit. Dream the world into being. I just suddenly got so exhausted. Ooh, Divine Masculine, this is so true. Have you been allowing your imagination to run amok and dream up a nightmare that seems to have come true? Fear not, for whatever dreaming you did in the past can change today as you dream anew. Wake up from the perception that everything is wrong. Lizard Spirit asks you to open your eyes and consciously dream a better dream. What would it look like to already have what you desire and be the one you wish to be? How might it feel to work toward co-creating this new dream as a reality in the world of the senses, drawing it out of the world of dreams and building it in the world of form? Trust in your ability to dream anew and honor it today. Wow, that totally tracked with your reading. Cool beans. All right, let's look at the final cards. Bottom of the deck, overall, for both of you, you are in union in your addict energy, the light traits of it, which means you are recognizing and confronting addictive behavior. Divine Feminine, your addictive behavior definitely involves overindulgence. Divine Masculine, you're receiving judgment for your addictive behavior, and you have been addicted to this fantasizing, right? Just being left and stuck in fantasy, but you are both confronting that right now. You're no longer compromising your integrity and honesty or allowing an addictive pattern that you have to have authority over your spirit. We got the Nine of Pentacles and we're getting this reward card. So your guardian angel is here to support you in receiving this reward. And look what it is. Peace. And look what it is. Peace. In case you didn't realize. Finally, an end to painful separation. There is peace here. The Holy Spirit was here yesterday in the reading and has remained and is now here for the entire union, protecting you and guiding you and helping you to receive this reward, which is peace between the two of you. I am the dreamer of my dream. This was in reverse because you are the dreamer of your dreams together. And you share that I am. You share that consciousness. The energy is gaining momentum, is in reverse. So there's a little bit of the energy is, it's not gaining momentum. It is in its full flow. The momentum, like we're in it. We're experiencing this forward motion. You are already doing it. Stop overthinking. And both were overthinking. There was overfeeling. There was just so many things going on today in the reading that it took me 1 hour and 16 minutes to get to the last card. Keep facing your true north. And then we're getting chameleon spirit. Act as if. I opened right to it. Chameleon spirit shares her gift with you today to prepare you for changes that will greatly benefit you. Outer conditions are changing. You are required to come into harmony with them so you can co-create your greatest dream. Feeling sensitive? Good. Because that will come in handy, enabling you to determine how best to adapt in your environment and the people in it, while at the same time maintaining your integrity and inner equilibrium. Even if you feel like you're in uncharted territory, chameleon spirit has complete faith in your ability to fit in and learn the lay of the land, adapting as necessary. This is a fortunate time to act as if and do as others do until the new ways feel familiar and completely natural. Life is offering you a great lesson now. Adapting isn't about losing yourself. It's about learning how to dance with others. Beautiful. Okay, so Divine Feminine, that Fool energy, that new beginning, and that feeling that you had in the Queen of Swords, which was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. You're being told right now, act as if the two of you are coming together. You're merging these two worlds, right? And you want to just start to blend those two things together and become one with each other. The way that the chameleon becomes one with its environment by adapting, that is what's going to happen for the two of you. You'll still remain an individual, but you're going to be blending these two worlds together. And your path towards that is to act as if that's already happened, to have gratitude even before this thing has coalesced. All right, final cards. Let's pull just a couple of cards that will help us focus on some little things we could do today that will help us come into union. Wouldn't you love to just come into union today? I just really would. All right. And for Divine Masculine, please. A little bit to help him today. And for the both of them. Okay. Okay, Divine Feminine. Your focus for today? Work, right? Patience. Heartbreak. 3 energy. 3 of Swords. So you have wounds. This is about being very honest with yourself, even if it's painful, right? This is about those painful truths within. I think this is a call to do a little bit of work today on healing your wounds in regards to the that third-party energy we just found out about today, right? Feeling like, oh, I kept myself a third party, and so did Divine Masculine, and that hurts, and there must be something in there. There must be something in there. So you might want to just kind of take a look today at what is causing some of the heartbreak and just gently acknowledge it. There's not a call here. You don't have to do like extreme shadow work, but just nurture your heart today. Take care of that heart and have a sense of those wounds and how they affect your actions. Divine Masculine, you're getting the Four of Wands. This is a marriage card, buddy. And you had the Hierophant and all this stuff, you know, I mean, this is about establishing strong relationship foundation. It's about commitment. So this might be about looking at your commitments that you're making and keeping today in regards to yourself. It might be about planning to make this a practical thing as well. And the overall energy, I'm going to show both of these cards. The King of Cups, and right below it was the Six of Pentacles. So this is a reciprocity today. And the King of Cups is very heart-centered, sensitive, able to navigate emotions, caring, loving, compassionate. So have love for one another, even in the silence, even if you're not able to express it. But if there is any expression today, make sure that it is reciprocated between the two of you. That's all I got for you. I hope you have a great day today. Thank you so much for following. Please like, subscribe, share, help to grow my channel, helps to support me so I keep doing this work, which I kind of like doing. And seeing as you're here every day, you kind of like seeing. So if you do enjoy that, please click on the box below. There's a place you can support me as a Patreon subscriber. There is additional content available for those subscribers. There's access to my music from my music career, and there's a list you can click of the cards that I am calling in if you want to support me by sending me a deck so you can change the imagery up on my channel and make me smile. What a lovely thing to do for someone. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day today. Take care. Do not sweat the small stuff. I don't know. Like, have a good day. That's all I got to say.